For those of you asking for an update on my ballet journey, here we go. So I went for my second class, and I did not go in late this time. But then when I walked in, the instructor was saying hi to everyone. And then she said, has anyone here never done ballet before? And then one woman in the back raised her hand, and then she said, come with me. And so she took her hand and then brought her to a specific place to stand in the room. And I was like, oh, how interesting. And then she said, anyone else has never done ballet? And then she looked right in my direction, and I was like, and I was like, you got something to say? And she said, going once. And I was like, why is she saying that? She knows I have not done ballet before. I was here last class. I got the dead fish I'm dead fish boy. Of course I have not done ballet. But I guess I later, based on what happened after this, she wanted me to speak up because I didn't speak up. And then we started doing the routine, and I was like, all right, left hand on the bar. That's Bible. You only turn into the bar. So I turned into the bar, and I put my left hand on the bar, and I'm going to start. As soon as I turn around, I realized exactly why she kept on saying, anyone else, because she was trying to place new beginners in between people. And as soon as I turned around, I was like, well, darn. I was the only person on my line, and I was like, where's the other human who was here last time? So I was the leader, and I had no idea what was happening. So I was just looking at the reflection of there was a window. It wasn't even a mirror. It was a window, and I was looking at the guy behind me's feet, and I was like, is that what we're doing? Fifth position. And then at some point, she stops the class, and she looks in my direction. She says, remind me your name. I said, Peter. And she walks all the way up to me. She says, everybody, look at Peter. This is what you don't do. She said, your foot is a dead fish. I said, okay. And she said, you have to point it out. And I'm doing it in front of everyone. She's like this. Do it better. And I was fixing it. And then she said, yes. And so when she said yes, I was like, oh, wow, she actually does care about me. And she was like, good job. Now do it 64 times. And I said, and she just stared into my soul. And I said, like right now? That was not the right thing to say, because she said, and she just turned around and walked away from me. And as soon as she walked away, it was like a movie. She walked away, and then the person behind her comes into focus, and she said, it takes a long time for all of us. And the guy behind me taps me on the shoulder, and I look at him. He said, I got the dead fish talk last week. You're okay. And I was like, what's happening? Is this a sitcom? And then at some point, we want to do an arabesque, but not with our feet, only our hands. And so she said, everyone do your hands, and then you're going to turn your head. And so I did my head, and I was like, oh, yeah, I look so good. I look so good like this. Yes. And she said, other shoulder. And I'm like, these dum-dums over here. It's basic class, guys, but you can follow instructions. And I'm doing this. She said, excuse me. And I was like, let me just check in with her, because these dum-dums over here don't know what's going on. Let me find out who the stupid person in this class is. And then I look at her, and she says, other shoulder. And I was like, there's no way she's looking at me. It must be the person behind me. But, just to cover my bases, let me just do it. So I went like this. And she said, yes. And I said, ooh, it was me. I'm the bad student. So somehow I've unintentionally become the class clown in basic ballet. And at one point she was like, Peter. She was going to fix the music on Spotify. And then she said, Peter, do you know what you are doing? And I said, nope. The whole class laughed. Oh, man. So I'm going back.